Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my second year students. In today's lecture, we'll start Nelson Mandela's inaugural address that he made on the occasion of freedom, independence of South Africa. The title of this speech, as given in your book, is Glory and Hope. Glory is greatness, dignity, grandeur, and hope is a simple word. So, this title suggests that the main points that Nelson Mandela brings out in this address revolve around these two concepts: how a nation or the whole world in general can achieve glory and hope for better and joyful future. So let's start the speech itself. Your Majesties, Your Highnesses, distinguished guests, comrades and friends. Now these are the titles using which Nelson Mandela is addressing the audience. Actually, the audience consists of many great personalities from around the world, some rulers, some presidents, prime ministers, ministers of different countries, and other respectable personalities are present there. So he is addressing them all using these titles. Distinguished guests. Distinguished here means well-known. Comrades, companions, friends. Today, all of us do, by our presence here and by our celebrations in other parts of our country and the world, confer glory and hope to newborn liberty. So Nelson Mandela says that as all of us have gathered here, by our presence here, our gathering here, and by our celebrations, joyful activities, expression of joys in other parts of our country. Now this speech he is making in the parliament, whereas in other part of South Africa, people are celebrating the winning of freedom in their own ways, on streets, on roads, in their homes, in parks, wherever it is possible for them. And even in other parts of the world, certain groups, certain parties, certain classes are also celebrating this event. So he says that all these celebrations and our presence here confer glory. To confer is to give, to give as a title, to give as a gift, to give as a respectable recognition of something, confer glory and hope. So in this way, actually what we are doing is that we are giving newborn liberty, hope and glory. We are giving greatness and dignity and hope to this newly won freedom. Out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud. So now he mentions that South Africa underwent a very great human disaster, a very extraordinary, unusual human crisis, a very great human problem that lasted. Lasted here means continued. That continued too long. That disaster or crisis remained there for a very long period. Actually, more than 150 years rather. Must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud. So he says that as we have undergone this disaster, this crisis that remained there for so long a time, we hope that now a society will be shaped, will be born, which all humanity will be proud of. All humanity will be proud of a new society that will emerge after this freedom, and that society, he wants to say, will be a balanced and a balanced and good society. Our daily deeds as ordinary South Africans must produce an actual South African reality that will reinforce humanity's belief in justice, strengthen its confidence in the nobility of the human soul, and sustain all our hope for a glorious life for all. So he wants to remind his countrymen, the people of South Africa, ordinary South Africa, the common people of South Africa, that their deeds, their actions, their doings must be as positive, as balanced, as are able to produce an actual South African reality. Earlier, whatever system was enforced there in South Africa, whatever policies the South African government, that was the government of the white people who had adopted a policy of segregation with respect to the black people of South Africa. Now he wants to say that the actual reality of South African society will now emerge. It will emerge in such a way that it will reinforce, it will strengthen. Reinforce means strengthen humanity's belief in justice, that all humanity throughout the world, people of the world, will have a better understanding and strengthened belief in justice, strengthen its confidence in the nobility of the human soul, and the deeds of the common people of South Africa will make it possible for all the people of the world to strengthen their confidence in the nobility of the human soul. That human soul basically is a very noble thing. The color, the race, the creed, all these things are of secondary nature. The real thing, the basic thing is human soul, and human soul is a perfect thing, is a noble thing. And sustain all our hopes. To sustain is to keep alive, to keep alive, to keep in survival. So those hopes for a glorious life, for a dignified, for a great life for all will remain there, will survive only because of the deeds that the South African people will now show in their free society. All this we owe both to ourselves and to the peoples of the world who are so well represented here today. And he reminds his countrymen that it is their responsibility. All this we owe. We owe means that we are indebted to do this. We owe this. We are in a way responsible for all this. We have in a way taken loan, and we are now to pay back that loan. To owe is to have to pay back loan. So we have now this responsibility with respect to ourselves and with respect to the peoples of the world. Now here you can see that the word people has been used in plural, whereas many of you know that this word is usually used as singular, people only, not peoples. But the difference is there. When we use people for message, for public, we use it as singular, only people. But when we use this word for nation, and when we try to talk about different nations, many nations, we may use its plural also. So peoples here means nations of the world who are so well represented here today. Representatives of different nations are present there. So he says that it is our responsibility with respect to ourselves and with respect to all the nations of the world whose representatives are present here. To my compatriots, I have no hesitation in saying that each one of us is as intimately attached to the soil of this beautiful country as are the famous jacaranda trees of Pretoria and the mimosa trees of the bushveld. Now he is addressing his own countrymen. Compatriots means co-countrymen, countrymen. He says that he has no hesitation. He will not hesitate. He will not shy to say that each one of us is as intimately, very closely, that all of us are very closely attached to the soil of South Africa. It is our country, it is our homeland, it is our motherland, it is our fatherland. So we are very closely attached to the soil of South Africa, which is a beautiful country. And here he uses a simile. He says that jacaranda trees are some trees there which grow in South Africa. Pretoria is another name for South Africa. Its name during the period of that racial segregation was Pretoria. So he says that the trees, jacaranda trees, are attached to the land of Pretoria, and mimosa trees of the bushveld. Bushveld are the region where bushy areas, you may say. So mimosa trees are also some trees there. So he says that as those trees are very closely and intimately attached to the soil of South Africa, all of us, all of the countrymen are also attached to the same soil with love and with devotion. Each time one of us touches the soil of this land, we feel a sense of personal renewal. He says that whenever we come in touch with the soil of South Africa, we feel a sense of personal renewal. We feel refreshed. We feel newness. We we feel newness or refreshment of our soul. The national mood changes as the season change. He says, well, it is quite natural that season go on changing. The cycle of season continues there. It continues revolving. Similarly, the mood of the nation, the mood of the people of South Africa also goes on changing. We are moved by a sense of joy and exhilaration when the grass turns green and the flowers bloom. He says that it is quite natural that with season our mood also changes. So whenever we see that grass has turned green or the flowers are now opening, flowers are now blooming, blossoming, we feel a sense of joy and exhilaration. Exhilaration is a very deep sense of joy, very deep sense of pleasure. So he says that whenever there are good times, whenever there is spring season, our mood also becomes joyful and happy. So as we have won our freedom, now our mood is very happy. That spiritual and physical oneness we all share with this common homeland explains the depth of the pain we all carried in our hearts as we saw our country tear itself apart in a terrible conflict, and as we saw it spurned, outlawed, and isolated by the peoples of the world precisely because it has become the universal base of the pernicious ideology and practice of racism and racial oppression. He says that the spiritual and physical oneness exists there with reference to their homeland. All the South African people have this in common, that they have spiritual and physical oneness with their dear motherland. And it also explains that earlier all of them experienced a very deep and profound pain. They had in their hearts a very deep pain when they observed, when they witnessed that their country was torn, was broken up, itself apart in a terrible conflict. It was dismembered, it was disintegrated because there swayed a very terrible, a very horrible conflict, dispute within the country. And because of all this, they also witnessed that it spurned, outlawed, and isolated by the peoples of the world. That it was disrespected. Spurned is rejected. It was rejected. It was turned out and outlawed. It was declared outlawed. It was declared. It was boycotted by the whole world and isolated. The whole world kept it at distance. Every other country, every nation of the world boycotted it. It was isolated from the whole world precisely because it has become the universal base of the pernicious ideology. And it was exactly because of this that this country, their motherland, had become a pernicious, evil, devilish. It has become the base of the devilish or satanic ideology and practice of racism, because racism and racial oppression was adopted as an official policy there by the rule of the white people there. They segregated, they isolated the natives of the land, natives of South Africa, the black people, and because of that devilish and pernicious ideology, the whole world boycotted them. We, the people of South Africa, feel fulfilled that humanity has taken us back into its bosom, that we who were outlaws not so long ago have today been given the rare privilege to be host to the nations of the world on our own soil. Now he thanks the people of the world. He, on the part of the people of South Africa, he thanks the people of the world. He says that now they feel proud, they feel fulfilled that they are now feeling satisfied, that humanity has taken them back into its bosom, that humanity is now hugging them. Humanity has now taken them back into its own circle. Bosom is basically body. So the humanity has hugged them, has taken them back, brought them closer to them, that we who were outlaws, that just a few years ago, just a few days ago rather, they were outlaws. They were those who were boycotted. They were declared outlaws. The nations of the world had nothing to do with South Africa. Now they have been given rare privilege, a very rare, very precious privilege. Privilege is a great right, a personal, a special right. So they have been now given the special right to be host to the nation. And in that way they have become host to the nation, because representatives of different nations have become there, have come there as guests, and the South African people are now hosting them. So it is a really satisfactory position and situation for the people of South Africa. We thank all our distinguished international guests for having come to take possession with the people of our country of what is, after all, a common victory for justice, for peace, for human dignity. He again thanks the respectable, distinguished international guests, well-known and honorable international guests who have gathered there, that for having come to take possession, as South African people are now taking possession of their country, they are taking possession of their independence and freedom. So he says that the representatives of other countries have also come there to take possession of that with the people of their country, because freedom and independence are basically common things. It is a common victory for justice. If the people of South Africa have won their freedom, it is a victory of justice, not only for the people of South Africa, but also for the whole world. It is the victory of peace. It is the victory of human dignity for all the people of the world, all the people of all the nations of the world. So students, we stop here. We have completed almost half the lesson. The remaining half, inshallah, we will complete in our next lecture. Thank you very much.